What the brap is up, you little brapsters? Cody with two wheels in a tent here. And I thought it was time that I did a little story about myself. Who I am, how I got here, why two wheels in a tent is even a thing. So, I'm gonna go way back, okay? So if you're not in the mood for a story, probably skip to a different video. But, just wanted to tell my story. I became an electrician. I was married at 18. Started apprenticing to become an electrician. Became an electrician, got my residential journeyman's license. Things were going well, got a raise, things were looking up, and I was in a car accident. I had my daughter, my oldest daughter, and my middle child, my son, Zach, and was heading to work and got hit. A lady turned left with no signal. She wasn't even in the turn lane. And pretty much my head went through the windshield at 40 miles an hour. Apparently, I find out later, my daughter was not in a seatbelt. Although she had told me she was, and we were in a lawsuit against the car seat company, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, I found out she was not in a seatbelt when the guy that said he was, "Hi Cody, I'm the best lawyer in the world for Costco car seat company," said, "So your daughter was in a seatbelt, huh? And she was in the middle?" It was a Honda Civic. I'm like, "Yeah." And he pulls up pictures. He's like, "Can you show me where the middle seatbelt is?" But anyway, in that accident, Abby was not in a seatbelt, I was not in a seatbelt, and our babysitter was not in a seatbelt. The babysitter was life flighted, had some problem with her leg, whatever. Abby and I ended up in the ambulance together. I saw a good friend of mine that I grew up with who worked for Gold Cross, he still does. 2 weeks earlier I'd played hockey with him, and he told me, "I am in charge of like bad accidents, so I like make sure the scene runs right." I don't know the proper title, sorry guys. If you've been watching my channel, you know this. Anyway, so I'm laying there on a stretcher, put into the ambulance, and I see my buddy Craig, and I'm like so happy, like somebody I know, right? And then it hit me. Oh, crap. So then I started asking about my son. He was life flighted to Primary Children's. Nobody would give me an answer about my son. So I'm in the ambulance, I'm freaking out, scared, and I hear my daughter Abby, and I can't move because they've braced my neck and stuff. I can't move, but I hear, man, I've never been so happy. I knew she was okay. I knew I wasn't alone, but I couldn't get an answer on my son. Long story longer, he ended up at Primary Children's Hospital with the same injury that Christopher Reeves had. I think it was C2, C1 were separated. The news said his skin was the only thing holding his head on. He was decapitated, they said, which is partially true, but quite a stretch. Anyway, most people with that injury die immediately, snaps their spinal cord, done. Not my boy. His name was Zachary Ronan, and my sensei at the time had told me, "Boy, you named him Ronan? Sorry, you named him Ronan? He's gonna have to be one tough son of a bitch." Well, man, was he right. So, long story longer, my wife stayed at the hospital with Zach for 3 months. No joke, I think one time I got her to go to dinner outside of the hospital. Every time the nurse or doctor did anything to him, she asked questions. Why? How come? What's it for? What are you doing? Finally, the nurses told her, "Man, you need to become a nurse." So here's the coolest part of the story, I think. My wife took this terrible situation and she ended up becoming a nurse to help others and to help our son, and just became a compassionate, caring, patient spokesperson, if you will, caring for patients. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen. Me, I went off the deep end. I'm a guy. We're supposed to protect our children, and we're supposed to fix things. Well, I felt like I didn't protect him because I was driving, even though it was not even close to my fault. And I couldn't fix it. So I went off the deep end. Got into substances. I think I was literally trying to kill myself with substances. I had to work. The wife stayed with the kid, which was awesome, and I agreed with. It sucked for me, but he needed 24 care. He had a trach when he came home, so breathing through his trach. The little shit, when Grandma used to babysit him, Grandma gets a little nervous, just in general, okay? Not a bad thing, just does. Just who she is. So my little shit son, Zachy, would hold his breath because we had to clear his trach out every once in a while, suction it out. So when Grandma was babysitting him, he would he would hold his breath until he like started turning colors. Get Grandma all in a panic and then just start laughing. Anyway, we had him since the accident. I can't remember what year, what day it is mostly, okay? I'm just gonna be honest. But I think we had him for about a year. He passed on. Another cool part of the story. There was 2 surgeons in the world, or in the United States, that could possibly even help him. One of them happened to be at primary where he was taken. They had to make a device for his neck to hold it together. They had them for adults, but not children. So these 2 doctors, 2 surgeons, neurosurgeons, drew up literally like NASA-like blueprints of what they needed. Took them to Thiokol, NASA, told them what they needed, and NASA donated, they said, I think it was 12 hours of 100 people, like rocket scientists and engineers and neurosurgeons, donated their time and the titanium. Back then, they thought they might have to take it from a missile head, an old missile head or rocket head, because apparently back then in 2000, 2001, titanium was hard to get a hold of. Now everything I carry in my camp is titanium. But anyway, they did the surgery, and it got us, you know, another year, whatever, with him. Last I checked, which was probably 10 years ago, the device that they invented had been implemented in 50 or more children, helping them. So pretty cool. But it just showed me in a time when I was getting ready to hate everybody, that people can be awesome and the world can care. My son taught me he could laugh through that. I mean, he was a jokester. He was wheelchair bound, but man, he could laugh, joke. So he taught me that some of the things that we worry about and make a big deal about, not that important. So anyway, long story longer, I went back to work as an electrician, and I started like just freaking out for no reason. I'd be pulling some wire, which I've been doing for years. I'd start crying, or I'd start throwing shit, or just fucking walk off the job. Yeah, PTSD, I suppose. So then I went and tried some other things. I tried being a trainer at Gold's Gym. I tried divorcing my wife. That was stupid. Ended up remarrying her. Best second decision I've ever made. I played in a band. Did pretty well, actually. We were playing at Sundance, the music film festival. Got some of our songs into that. Got to play there live right next to Dave Matthews. But the closer I got, I'm a family guy at heart. That's just who I am. Love my kids, love my family. Even if I have bonehead moments, that's what's important to me. So the closer I got, you know, started getting free party favors and whatever, I just realized that's not what I want. So I got remarried to my gal. At this point, our son had moved on, and I went to work for just little companies. Before my accident, I think I was at 4 or 5 years at one place. After the accident, 3 months basically is my limit. Either I can't show up, or I tell the boss to go get fucked because I don't want to listen to his shit, or just didn't show up. My wife says I've changed since the accident. Hard for me to see, but she knows me better than anyone. So I got sick of going from job to job to job, so I started my own company. My oldest daughter started dating this boy. They were serious. I said, you can't stay here at our house. I mean, I preferred them to come to our house than to be out wherever. But I kind of jokingly said, he can't stay here unless he has a job. Well, I didn't know I'd have to create the job. So I made him my apprentice. And I worked him literally, we were doing job, I worked him 31 hours straight. And then we slept for like 4 hours and went back because there was an inspection. We worked another 12 hours. We were doing crazy hours. And I was trying to break him. But man, he rose to the challenge. He's now a full journeyman electrician. Very proud of him. He's now married to my daughter. He works at a different company. Doing commercial, pays more, and it's better for providing for my daughter, which is awesome. But that kind of, then I was alone again. And long story even longer, people. This guy, Squatch, or Vince, you know him as Squatch, had a knife from his grandpa, and on like Craigslist type stuff, traded it for like a paintball gun. That thing was badass, actually. It would shoot through my metal shed. And I think he traded it for a kicker motorcycle, just a little chopper. I don't know what CC it was, but it had a suicide shifter. It was crazy, but it was fun. And then he traded that for a dirt bike, a CR 250 that had dual exhaust. And I had rode dirt bikes right before my oldest daughter was born. For about 3 months I had one. Found out we're pregnant and I sold it. So then I had to get a dirt bike to show him how to ride, right? Started making videos under Dirt Nap Dirt Bike Adventures channel. And one of my buddies from long ago, Johnny Mack, that I used to play hockey with, messaged me on Facebook and said, I see you're into dirt bikes, come ride with me. At this point I was a shut-in. I didn't go meet people. Like I literally, if I worked and then I came home and I was in the house. Video games, making videos, whatever. Didn't even go to like the Maverick Loan. I decided to go meet him. Well, he and his buddy Lyman took me up American Fork Canyon places I had no business being. Not only that, but we got to the top of the mountain, which was the first time for me, because I wasn't good enough to ride with these folks. They were very patient. I think they just liked torturing me. But it started hailing. Yeah. And then we had to go down some stuff I still don't love to go down. I can do it. No problem now. But back then, I mean, we're talking boulders half the size of my tent down an old riverbed in the hail, wet, not good. Anyway, I think it usually took them like an hour to do this loop, give or take, and I think it took us 6, give or take. I could be off on both. So then I got pissed and started riding and riding and riding, trying to get better. Johnny Mac always rode with his better buddies, and I wasn't quick enough to go or good enough. He'd ride with me occasionally, but it pissed me off and I wanted to get better, so it became a mission. Then Squatch and I figured out, well, we don't get to the riding site till 2 or 3 in the afternoon because we're not morning people, and the day is very short, so we started camping. And I tried to figure out how to get camping gear on a 300cc dirt bike. That's where I found Tim Collins' channel. I started messaging Tim, and he was cool, messaged me back. He told me to come meet him in the Valley of the Gods and do a ride. So I went to my wife and Johnny Mac, who usually talk sense into me when I want to do stuff that's just selfish. Because I was scared, I'm not gonna lie. Go meet somebody I didn't know. And both of them told me, you have to do this. I was like floored. Oh great, what the hell. So I took Squatch with me and we went and met him. Got some videos of that trip. And it was awesome. But that was the first time Tim sat and talked me through the YouTube thing. Let me interview him. That's private. Will never be up online, sorry guys. But I realized he was living the dream. He was riding his motorcycle, camping, traveling the United States, and doing it by his YouTube channel and the links of products and books that he sold and t-shirts, etc. I'd never seen somebody actually doing it, and it clicked the switch. So I came home and working was harder than ever. I just wanted to ride, make videos. Then he invited me to Idaho to do the backcountry discovery route. And here's where my life changed. I mean, changed. I met him in Idaho. Again, saw that he's doing the dream. And Idaho is beautiful. We saw probably 50 people in 7 days, other than McCall, where we had to go to get gas because in Bergdorf Springs, where it said there was gas, they told us the previous year the gas station blew up, literally. So McCall was crowded. It's a money town. It's beautiful, but we got out of there as quick as we could. And I knew this is what I wanted to do. My soul just told me. And so I came home from Idaho, started trying to get sponsors. I think I had 50 subscribers. I mean, I'm not even to 1,000 yet, people. This is a year ago. Hey, Moscow, sponsor me, blah, blah, blah. They were really cool, by the way. They're like, just grow your channel, man. We'd be happy to, you know, just, they were encouraging and didn't just say, get lost. So, as you've seen, the last year I've been putting videos out, trying to get better at those. Trying to grow the channel, trying to connect with you. I've rode with some of you, been meeting people. I did the Utah BDR solo. This is a miracle. I talked to Johnny Mac on the way down. He says, where are you going? I told him. He's like, who you meeting? I said, I'm doing it solo. He's like, who am I talking to? I don't know. So anyway, that's how I became where we're at, why I have a YouTube channel. first it was just, you know, kind of a video vlog of our shenanigans. And it still really is. I mean, per se, not making any money off this, but I am having fun, loving connecting with you guys, loving the process, even editing and learning. You know, there's always something more to learn. So anyway, how did I come out of the drugs phase, huh? I forgot to kind of cover that. I was getting pretty bad, not sleeping for literally this one stretch 2 weeks. Like, I would nod off, wake up, but no sleep, hallucinating, hearing things, and probably just not a nice person. And my wife, she knew my button. She said, if you ever want to see these kids again, you need to knock this shit off. So I went to get treatment, and they told me the particular party favors I liked were not really addictive, and they couldn't pay for treatment, which is bullshit. But anyway, I just snapped, and that was it. I just didn't do it again. So I'm grateful for that. But I'll call out to all of you, subscribe, maybe sign up for Patreon. I'll put your name in the video. Been trying to work. Have some mental blocks that make that hard. No excuses, just saying it like it is. This is what I want to do. This is what my soul tells me I need to do. And doing the best I can. But this life, this dream, kind of depends on you guys. Maybe buying a shirt or kicking me some Ko-Fi gas money, something. And I hate to ask people for help, so there's that. And recently I've kind of admitted, like, my hands don't really work like they used to. My brain tells them to do stuff. I don't play guitar anymore, which I loved. It hurts too bad, so there's probably some carpal tunnel, whatever. I'm hoping it's not a deeper issue though, like finite skills, like putting a screw into a light while standing on a ladder. I used to be able to do with my eyes closed. The other day working at Johnny Mac's house, kept dropping the screws, getting down, up and down the ladder, so frustrating. And that was actually kind of scary. Just to look at that and think, you know what, maybe there is something wrong, dude. So I'm in it, baby. If nothing else, if you enjoy the videos, subscribe, like, comment. I love replying to comments. I try to hit everyone. It gets a little crazy sometimes, but I do my best, because making the videos is fun, because doing the damn thing is fun. And then taking them home, chopping them up, making them into a story, that's fun. A little tedious sometimes, and I mean, I'll stay up after the wife goes to bed till 4 a.m. editing a video. But I like it, I'm not complaining. I've had some amazing adventures and met some really cool people. So there's that. That's who I am, where I came from, why this channel even exists. Oh, when I went to Idaho, I gotta throw this in there. When I went to Idaho, I didn't have an adventure bike. So I didn't know, like a week before Idaho, I was like, it was my biggest dream. I wanted to do it, but couldn't. Johnny Mac loaned me the 701 Chippewa. Made that possible. And like I said, Tim and Idaho, that experience lit a fire under me like I have never had. So I came back, you know, and through my phases, I hadn't been real responsible, so my credit sucked. I was making decent money, but I didn't have money to put down on another bike. I had just bought the 6 days, which I'm still trying to pay off before they take that away. Just keeping it real. And Johnny Mac made me an offer I couldn't refuse. So even though I don't put him in Patreon because it's not Patreon, his guidance, his counsel, and his support helping me with things like the 701, making that even possible, make this channel possible. The wife and children's support also make it possible. Could not do that without either of the above mentioned, and Tim's encouragement, inspiration, definitely another huge part. And you guys, your comments and stuff. When it starts feeling like too much and like, man, I just better give it up and go try to be an electrician, then I go do that and my hands don't work. It just gets me frustrated, pushes me farther back into the videos. It all makes this possible, and I just want to thank you all, because in a way I'm living the dream. Anyway, that's a long story. If you stuck with me, thanks. Appreciate you. As always, stay safe and come join the adventure, baby.